All right, guys. Wow, this is another crazy one. This is another insane thing that's just popped up in my suggested videos on YouTube. This went down late last night, but they've literally just held a press conference. Like within the last half hour, the police have held a press conference. So we're going to listen to that. We're going to fill in the backstory. I don't think this manhunt, is going to be resolved in the next couple of hours while I'm live. If you're in yesterday's live stream, where there was a manhunt for an absolute monster who'd shot to death 3 women with a crossbow, he was apprehended while I was live. So that manhunt lasted only a matter of hours. But this one is a little bit more, I think, going to be more complicated. However, the police, literally a few minutes ago, have released a very clear image of this man that they want. So this is all going down in Bristol here in the UK. I know there's a Bristol in Tennessee, but this is Bristol in the UK. So and it's on the world famous Clifton Suspension Bridge. These 2 suitcases filled with human remains. Yes, you heard me. 2 suitcases filled with human remains were left by a man on Clifton Suspension Bridge. Just got a taxi to drop him off at Clifton Suspension Bridge. Now, Clifton Suspension Bridge is high over the River Avon. It's a well-known spot for people jumping to end their life. People go there to end their life. So the police were called. By the time the police got there was no one to be seen, except those 2 suitcases. All right. Yeah, I've no idea. I can't answer that. I'm afraid I cannot answer that. I can't explain it. The world's crazy. It's getting crazier. I don't know who Richie Edwards is, but the victim or victims, we don't yet know whether there's more than one body. Like 2 suitcases, but we don't know whether it's one body across 2 suitcases or it's 2 bodies or more than 2 bodies even. We don't know. And the police there's currently an autopsy going on. I assume that will be today, a complete forensic autopsy. So whether they'll be able to identify the victim or victims will depend on a number of factors. It will depend on how decomposed the bodies are. We don't know how long these bodies have been in these suitcases. If the DNA is in the DNA database here in the UK, like the equivalent of CODIS for you guys in the US, if the DNA is in the database, then of course they'll be able to identify the victim or victims immediately, or at least as quick as it takes to do DNA returns these days. And it's not very long when the police want them. They only take a few days when the police want them. But that would mean that this person or persons, has been in communication with the police, shall we say, like as a criminal past, or has given DNA to the police for another reason. Not everybody, like my DNA, isn't in the police database. I'm very confident of that because I've never been in trouble. So they wouldn't be able to identify me by my DNA or my fingerprints. So dental records, potentially, but again, it depends on whether that victim has had recent dental treatment, and there isn't like a central body that contains all dental records. So that would be a long shot, for people who they've got, no idea. They'll be able to give like maybe possibly a rough idea of how long they've been in the suitcases, but not necessarily. So there's a whole range of complications there. So I suspect that this suspect will be able to tell all when they catch him, if they catch him. All right, so I'll do the map first just to show you where this is. So this is Bristol. It's in the southwest of England. Here it is, southwest of England. And the Clifton Suspension Bridge is kind of, this is the city of Bristol. And then this is the river. And then these are the woods that the man was seen going towards. So heading in this direction. So this is Clifton Suspension Bridge here. This is it. And the man was walking in this direction, so away from the city and heading into the woods. Well, towards the woods. We don't know where he went. So that's just the orientation. Yes, the river is very, very silty, very sandy, very clayey. And so that's your orientation. All right, I'm going to play you this 2-minute clip that just gives you the backdrop, the background to this from the Sun. The Sun have been pulling it out of the bag lately. Don't buy the Sun, but they've been hot on the heels of Jay Slater. So I've been using the Sun's material more than I've ever done, I think, over the last few weeks. He may have jumped. He didn't jump. No, he didn't jump. Well, there's reason to believe he didn't jump. I don't think that's being considered. I mean, is it possible that he went back and jumped? I don't think so, because as soon as the police got there, they cordoned everything off. So there was a suggestion it could be the body of the young lad, or Jack, who is missing in Bristol. Yeah, that was one of the questions at the press conference, and what the officer said was that they've been in contact with Jack's family, Jack O'Sullivan. They've been in contact with his family, because they'll see this in the news. But at the moment, they're not drawing any parallels with his case. But at the moment. So this is just 2.5 minutes. So we're going to play this just to give you the backstory. And then I'll play the press conference. And we've got an interview with someone who, not an eyewitness, but close to an eyewitness. And there's quite a bit coming out on Twitter now. There is so much CCTV there. So much CCTV. Look, this is the dude. This is the dude. All right. So they literally released this image, actually 2 images, minutes before I went live. So black male with a beard, slim build, wearing black. It's Adidas cap, a black jacket, and he had black trainers with a white soles. So there's a close-up of his face there. So look, that's as clear an image as you can make it. That's as clear an image as you can make it. So this dude he's going to be identified, regardless of where he's been living. He may have travelled to Bristol. We don't know. It doesn't matter whether he's in Bristol. This has gone nationwide this afternoon. This has gone nationwide. This is all over the national media. So wherever he's been living, he is going to get identified. Somebody knows this man. Somebody knows this man. All it takes is that one person to come forward and give a name. That's all the police need. All the police need. So if anybody sees him or knows him, don't approach him. Call 999 if you see him. Quoting reference 52241 80010 to the call handler. If you can't remember the number, the police give these really long numbers here in the UK. If you can't remember the number, just say you think you've seen the man who left the suitcases on Clifton Suspension Bridge. I'm sure it will get to the right person. I'm sure dispatch will be able to get it to the right person. So, described as black with a beard, wearing black Adidas baseball cap, black jeans, black jacket, black trainers with thick white soles, and he had a black backpack. So all dressed in black, so he can just meld into the night. But unfortunately, he didn't realise there's a camera. It's a city. There's cameras everywhere. And actually, in this one, he is looking at the camera. He realised there's a camera and he thinks, shit. Shit. Do they know whose remains? No, not yet. All right, so let's play this 2.5 minutes. Okay.
A manhunt is underway after 2 suitcases containing human body parts were found on a bridge last night. Cops rushed to the world-famous Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol around midnight after reports of a man acting suspiciously. Social media users reported the man was seen dragging a suitcase along the bridge, which had red liquid seeping out of it. Officers found 1 suitcase and another nearby containing human remains, but the man had vanished. Detectives are now hunting the man and asking for potential witnesses to come forward. The bridge, which spans the Avon Gorge, was closed earlier and will remain shut for the rest of the day, while forensic officers scour for clues. Police said the man was taken to the bridge, which is a known spot for suicides, by a taxi driver who left him at the scene. The taxi has now been seized to scour for clues and the taxi driver interviewed. In a statement this lunchtime, Avon and Somerset Police said, at 11:57 p.m. on Wednesday, 10th of July, we received a report of a man with a suitcase acting suspiciously on Clifton Suspension Bridge. Officers arrived at the bridge within 10 minutes, but the man had already left the area, leaving the suitcase behind. A second suitcase was located nearby a short time later. Sadly, it's believed the suitcases contain human remains. Our major crime investigation team has launched an investigation. Locating the man who left the suitcases and identifying the deceased are our priorities. Acting Bristol Commander Vix Hayward Mellon said, this is a very disturbing incident, and I fully recognise the concern it will be causing our communities. The investigation is being led by our major crime investigation team and involves specialist officers and staff from across our organisation. Our immediate priority is to locate the man who took the suitcases to the bridge, identify the deceased, and inform their next of kin. Specialist officers are ready to provide them with any support they need. She added, an immediate search of the area was carried out by officers on the ground with the support of the National Police Air Service and HM Coast Guard following the discovery of the suitcases. These searches remain ongoing. Initial inquiries have established the man was taken to the bridge in a taxi. This vehicle has been seized and the driver is helping us with our inquiries. Specialist crime scene investigators are currently examining the bridge and surrounding area. The bridge will remain closed while these inquiries are conducted. A forensic post-mortem examination will take place later today. There is currently an increased police presence in the area, and anyone who has concerns is encouraged to speak to an officer.
All right, so that was from a little while ago, and that's on the Sun. And 2 hours ago, that's from. So if you want to go and listen to that again, here's the link. Okay, 1 second. Here you go. All right. So let's listen to the press conference. This is from about an hour ago now. And when I was watching it live, they didn't have the first minute or so. Like Sky was live, and then they didn't get their audio up, and they didn't get it done. So I'm going to play the first part of it from this clip. I'm sure there's news channels got it now, but I'm going to play the first part of it from this clip, and then I'll go to the where it was live and to listen to the questions, because this is like just the main body, just like the first bit. The questions are very interesting, and she did actually answer quite a few questions. So, as per usual, it's not fantastic audio. I've heard worse. I've heard a lot worse. Didn't know the Sun had a posh journalist. Oh dear. Dear. All right, let's listen to this. So this is the first couple of minutes that was missed off when they played it live. Oh, hold on a minute. I haven't shared it. You didn't see any of that. So I'm playing this from this clip, but we'll switch when it gets to the questions. We'll switch to the one that was played live.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Acting Bristol Commander, Acting Superintendent Bix Hayward-Meelan. At 11:57 yesterday, we received a report of a man with a suitcase acting suspiciously on Clifton Suspension Bridge. Officers arrived at the bridge within 10 minutes of the call, but the man had already left the area, leaving the suitcase behind. A second suitcase was located nearby a short time later. Sadly, the suitcases contained human remains. An immediate search of the area was carried out by officers on the ground with the support of the National Police Air Service and His Majesty's Coast Guard, following the discovery of the suitcases. These searches remain ongoing. Our major crime investigation team has launched an investigation which involves specialist officers and staff from across our organisation. Our immediate priority is to locate the man who took the suitcases to the bridge, identify the deceased, and inform their next of kin. We are releasing an image of a man that we are currently looking for, which I should hold up now for you, and I will show afterwards.
You can't see that. I'll show you it.
And I shall show this afterwards for you all. He is described as black with a beard. He was wearing a black Adidas baseball cap with a white motif, a black jacket with a motif on the chest, and black trainers with thick white soles. He is also believed to be wearing, or have been wearing, a gold earring and was carrying a black backpack. Officers are currently working to track his movements through CCTV, and I can confirm that we know he left in the direction of Lee Woods behind me. At this stage, we are not aware of any current risk he poses to the wider public. However, if anyone sees him, we advise them not to approach him, and please do call 999 immediately. A forensic post-mortem examination is currently taking place, and whilst we continue to examine the scene, specialist investigators are working around the bridge and the surrounding area. As such, the bridge will remain closed whilst these inquiries are conducted.
All right, so I'll switch it over now to where it was live, and we'll listen to the questions. So you'll see what I mean when I show it you. Like they have this audio problem at first. Like there's
a second suitcase.
Like watch. This live stream will begin shortly. And then when it begins, they have no audio and it cuts off. So we'll go to where the questions were.
Whilst these inquiries are conducted. Initial inquiries have established the man with the suitcases was taken to the bridge in a taxi situation will cause worry. Anyone with any information, no matter how insignificant you think that it is, please do contact us. There are two processes and ways in which you can get in touch, which we are currently setting up. The first is online through our major incident public portal at mipp.police.uk. Or you can call the incident room direct on the two following numbers: 0800 056 0944, or alternatively, if you're calling from outside of the UK, 0207 158 0010. I'm now happy to take some questions, but remind anybody that if you do see the individual that you think matches the description, 999, please.
Actually, Commander, can we just...
Right.
Can you tell us about the person who has been found in the suitcases, gender, age, recent time of death?
So at this time, Rob, At this time, a forensic post-mortem examination is currently underway, so we cannot confirm any information because that is still ongoing. As soon as I have that information, we will make sure that we share it.
Is it one victim?
One or two people or persons?
At this time, I can't confirm because that forensic post-mortem is underway, and we will have that information and share it as soon as we do.
Did the taxi driver pick the man you're interested in up locally, or was he?
At this stage, we are still working with the taxi driver. He's helping us with our inquiries, and part of the investigation will be to understand that journey.
Because a lot of taxis now have CCTV in their car.
And I'm sure that will form part of the investigation. Thank you so much.
Have you got any sense of who this person might be? I.e., is anybody missing? Is, for instance, Stafford Sullivan potentially have you contacted his family to see whether or not this might be him?
So I understand that the parallels that might be made with Jack's case, and we would ask anybody to avoid any speculation at this time. What I can confirm is just because of the nature of the incident and the concerns that people may have, and as you pointed out there, a senior officer has been in contact with Jack's family to inform them of the incident, but I can confirm at this time that no parallels are being actively drawn.
But are there any other missing people out there that you think it potentially could be?
So this is a very early stages in an investigation, so I can't comment on that one way or the other, I'm afraid. But as soon as I can, I will give you more.
Do you have any numbers in terms of officers involved in this, obviously a very significant manhunt for this dangerous person?
So in terms of specific numbers of officers involved, no, I don't have numbers to hand. However, we've got people from our neighbourhood policing team, who were the officers you saw me speaking to a moment ago, who are providing that reassurance on the scene and talking to individuals. We've got our major crime investigation team, which consists of police staff, investigators, detectives and the like, as well as specialist units. So there are a number of people working on this because I know it will cause concern, and we want to find out what's happened as much as everybody else does. So
do you have an idea of the identity of the man, though?
At this time, without the forensic post-mortem results, I cannot comment on that because
not
truthfully,
the victim,
I don't know.
Sorry, the man.
The man we're looking for. I know what I just shared with you in terms of that photograph. So at this time, that his identity, we are still working out who that person is.
And are there searches happening anywhere else in Bristol or otherwise?
So I can't comment on that at this time because we are still at very, very early stages of investigation, trying to identify who the person was in that still and have those forensic postmortems on the suitcases.
Can I just ask you to clarify the sequence of events last night? Who notified the people, the police? Was it security staff? Who took that photo? Anything else you can say about the actual incident and the actual identity of this man doing what we seem to be doing? So
as you can imagine at the moment, the people that have called us and the report that we've had will form part of the investigation and part of the evidential process. So at this time, I'm not going to disclose who made that call, but what I can say is at 11:57, we received a report that I've outlined there, and that the image that was taken, we will also discuss the provenance of that in due course as part of the investigation. James.
Yeah, Biggs, I missed some of your statements, so apologies if you said this, but do you have any evidence to suggest whether this person might be getting harbored by others, or if they're working alone? Or
truthfully, at the moment, this is a very open investigation. We've got an open mind to all of the situations that could occur. I can't confirm one way or another because we are at the moment still trying to identify the person in the still, as well as identify the remains in the suitcases.
Just a couple of questions, Paul, please.
Presumably you've had a chance to look at the cameras on the bridge.
Not me personally, but we as the police, I presume, is part of. In fact, I'm confident that will be part of our investigation.
Presumably you've got a fairly good idea of the sequence of events.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little bit more detail about what those images
Yeah.
show?
So at this time, the investigators are doing that, and they are putting together the time frame of what has happened and the inquiries that may come out of that. And it's important that they are given the time to be able to establish those and establish that time frame. And we will come back to you when we are able to firm it up specifically for you, as well as potentially any inquiries that have come out the back of it that we may need your support on later on as media.
But just specifically, did the taxi arrive on the bridge from this side or from the Lee Woods side?
I don't have the answer to that at the moment, truthfully. Not because we don't know, but I don't have the answer myself to that.
The last question, please.
Particularly horrific discovery. How has it affected the officers who were doing this?
And I'm grateful for you asking that question. It's something that in a career, I'm sure somebody would never even anticipate coming across as part of their duty. So I can't speak on behalf of them because I haven't had the privilege of speaking to them. But what I can reassure you is that they are being supported and making sure that in the round, we are making sure that everybody connected with this investigation, their welfare is taken care of, and we're considering that. But thank you for that question. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right. So for those just coming in, this press conference happened just over an hour ago. And it's the first time we've heard from the police regarding this situation that arose very late last night. So the place was Clifton Suspension Bridge, which is in Bristol in the southwest of the UK. So this is Bristol, and my Clifton Suspension Bridge has gone. I don't know Bristol so well that I could go immediately to it. So the reports were that the man got a taxi, as the police officer just said, got a taxi to Clifton Suspension Bridge, asked to be dropped off on the bridge. Now, this is a well-known suicide spot. So the officer didn't say who made the call. So I don't know. Don't really want to speculate. Potentially, I guess, I'm going to speculate now and say maybe the taxi driver did. Maybe the taxi driver was concerned. Maybe the man was behaving strangely and the taxi driver thought this is someone who's going to jump. I don't know. Or it could be somebody else. Now, the image of the man has been released by the police. So this was released exactly an hour ago. This was released straight after the press conference finished. Black male, slim build. Don't know how tall he is or anything like that. We're in basically all black. So black Adidas cap, black jeans, black jacket, black trainers with a thick white sole. So whoever took this picture, I first assumed it was a camera on the bridge, but it can't be, can it? Because that's on the road. That's somebody who snapped a picture. That's actually somebody who was there. That's not a CCTV image. Looking at it again, and maybe it was that person that called the cops. Maybe that person saw the suitcases being dropped off. Don't know. We don't know those details as of yet. So, but what we do know is that 11:57 last night, so almost midnight, a call was made to the police. And when the police turned up, the man was nowhere in sight, but there was a suitcase. And then they closed off the area and then shortly thereafter found another suitcase. Suitcases that contained human remains. What we don't know as of yet is the ID of the suspect, although that is such a clear image. I'm quite sure that man is going to get ID'd very quickly. There's another close-up of his face there, wearing a gold earring as well. So going to get ID'd, this man here. And we also don't know the ID of the victim. We don't even know if there is more than one victim. Is there one victim in one suitcase and one victim in another suitcase? Are these complete bodies? Are these body parts? All of that we do not know at this moment in time. We don't know the gender, the age, anything, nationality. We don't know anything about the victim or victims. What we do have is this very, very clear image. Where did this happen? This happened on Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol, which is in the southwest of the UK. This is Clifton Suspension Bridge right here. It's world famous. I don't know why. It's world famous. But, oh, won't let me through. Why won't you let me through, you weirdo? Anyway, this is Clifton Suspension Bridge from the air. and it crosses the River Avon. So for those who have followed the Jack O'Sullivan case, Jack being the young man who's been missing for 4 months now in Bristol, was last seen in this area in the Cumberland Basin right here. So when the officer was asked about Jack, you can understand why the reporters wanted an answer to that question, because very, very close to where Jack was last seen. However, what the officer said was they have been in touch with Jack's family. Now, that's obvious that they'd need to be, because, you know, Jack's been missing for 4 months and they see this. They see this in the news. And if no one's contacted them from the police, they're going to absolutely freak out, aren't they? So someone's been in touch with them from the police, but there's no suggestion at this moment in time that it's Jack. There's no suggestion at this moment in time. At this moment in time, they're not drawing any parallels with Jack's case, but it remains to be seen. It is very close to where Jack went missing, but there's no suggestion at this time that it's him. We don't even know whether it's one victim or more than one victim. We don't know whether the victim or victims are male or female. We don't know at all anything. Do I know if Jack was gay? No, I don't know the answer to that. Does it matter? Why do people have to keep being so evil? I can't answer that either. It's the $10 million question. It's the question that we all want to know the answer to. Because if we knew the answer, we might be able to do something about it. But it's been alleged that the man ran, or walked at least, in the direction of Lee Woods. And on this side of the bridge, you've got the city of Bristol here. And then on this side of the bridge, you've got, you know, it goes out of the city. It's like open fields, farmland, woodland there. That's Lee Woods. So the city's all on this side of the river, and then it's wooded. There's some kind of small village town there. I don't know this area of the world very well at all. I've never been to Bristol. I've been through Bristol when I was a kid. I've been through Bristol. I think I've probably been over the Clifton Suspension Bridge when I was a kid. But I don't know the area at all. So that's Lee Woods. You know, under the cover of darkness, you could slip away very easily into those woods. Now, they did get the helicopter out. There was a manhunt last night through the night. But this man could have had a vehicle waiting somewhere. He could have, well, he could, no, he can't have a vehicle, can he? He can't have a vehicle, because if you had your own vehicle, why would you turn up in a taxi with and apparently there was red liquid seeping out of this suitcase, which is grim. So there's going to be forensic evidence all over that taxi. That man's DNA is probably in that taxi. That man's DNA is probably in that taxi, because what you don't see, oh, actually you do see. No, you don't. No, you don't. He's not wearing gloves. No, he's not wearing gloves. So, ah, dear. He's going to have touched the seats. He's going to have touched something in that taxi. You're going to have DNA. You're going to have fingerprints. He's not wearing gloves. What a clown. Maybe he took his gloves off. Maybe he was wearing gloves in the taxi. Maybe he took his gloves off. We don't know. But they are going to get this guy. They're going to get this guy. I mean, look, it's as clear as you can make it. That's as clear as you can make it. So, why am I getting the spinning wheel of death here? Why are we getting that? Yeah, so this wooded, it's reasonably thick. So run off into the woods, and he could have gone in any direction, you know, from here. It could live. It could live around here. So we don't know. And we don't know what direction the taxi came from. We just know that he went in the direction of Lee Woods. And actually, from this image, that's not on the bridge, is it? That's not on the bridge. I wonder where that's at. I think it's there. It's probably there. Yeah, it's there. Go around that corner. Possibly. Just possibly. There's the rest of the road straight. Anyway. I mean, the police are confident enough to release the image. They're confident enough to think that they want this guy. There was a case just yesterday in New York at Kips Bay of a man discarding a lady in luggage as well. Wow. No, not a master criminal, no. Not a master criminal. Okay, now there is a... If we go to Twitter, there's a man that was speaking. Here he is. So he's speaking to LBC News. So Clifton Suspension Bridge waiting for police update. So we've had the police update. This is from over an hour ago. Giles says he saw two men. He saw two men moving heavy suitcases out of a taxi by the bridge last night. So Giles here says he saw two men. So let's listen to what Giles said.
Yeah, my wife and I were watching the football game with my dad in Clifton Village, and we left my dad's flat about 10:30 after the football game and waiting for an Uber car at the corner there by the mall pub. And we were stood there waiting for our car, and a man and another man got out of another car across the street, and they were lifting these suitcases across the road for some reason, right by us. And another lady started to help them, and the lady who was helping them said, "These are the heaviest suitcases I've ever lifted. What's in them? Bodies?" And we sort of semi-joked about it, but they didn't say anything about it.
How did they come across? Were they speak English accents?
One was an African-American person, another was a white man, and then the lady, I think, was helping them because she made that comment.
And how did they seem to react with each other? Was it clear they knew each other? Or?
It seemed like they did, but I can't be sure about that. We were waiting for our Uber. You know, we were just waiting for our car, and we were semi-joking about these heavy suitcases. You know.
Were they joking back with you?
They didn't say anything.
So did you help them with the suitcase?
No.
No, you didn't. But you saw them with the suitcases.
Yeah.
What was their manner like? What did they seem?
They didn't really say anything of any remembrance at all. They were just struggling with these cases, and I think this lady must have helped them because she made that comment, you know. But they were sort of old, tatty suitcases, two big ones.
What sort of size? Yeah.
Big suitcases, yeah.
And when you heard the news today about what's happened,
I just was driving to go play golf with my dad, and my dad said, "There's a terrible." I was coming across the bridge to go up to Long Ashton, and they said, my dad said, "Oh, it's because there was national news. There's been some suitcases found."
And what were your thoughts when you?
Well, I immediately looked at my wife and said, "Wonder if that's a coincidence from last night."
All right. Okay. So yeah, my thought went to when he said there was two men. One I thought I was like, maybe one was the taxi driver. So he said there's an African American, so the black guy, and then there's a white guy, so that could be the taxi driver. Who this woman is, though, who was helping them, there's only been one suspect released by the police that they want to ID. So, don't know who this woman was. No idea. No, you're not going to use your best suitcases. You're not really, are you? No, you're not. Yeah, so this man is Giles. So was visiting his dad, watching the footy with his dad because England played last night in Clifton Village. Let's find Clifton Village. Like I said, I'm not familiar with this area at all. I'm guessing this is going to be Clifton Village on this side here. I'm guessing that's going to be Clifton Village, I would imagine. But let's do this. Clifton Village. Clifton Village Fish Bar. Clifton Village Butchers. Clifton Village Pharmacy. Clifton Village Post Office. Let's go do that. Oh, it's the other side. All right. Okay. All right. So it's telling me this is Clifton Village. All right. Fair enough. All right. So it must be like a suburb of Bristol. Clifton Village Post Office. So he mentioned the Mal Pub. Let's see where that is. They waited at the Mal Pub. Let's do Mal Pub. Okay. So there's the Mal. So they're waiting in this vicinity. So I shoved it down here. There it is. So they're waiting there, the Mal Pub. So it's just down the road from the bridge. So they're waiting there and they see two guys manhandling suitcases. So they weren't dropped off. If what this man's saying is true, then they weren't dropped off on the bridge itself. It is Kyle, yeah, he's playing games, yeah. I've told him not to swear. So they dropped off near the bridge. So why would they drop suitcases on the bridge? At least drop them over the bridge into the river. So Giles and his wife are waiting here at the Mal Pub for an Uber. Right. They see two men with extremely heavy suitcases. So presumably they had to wheel them. If they're too heavy to lift, I would imagine they were wheeling them. All right. So large suitcases, and a woman went over to help them. So maybe the woman was just, I don't know, walking a dog, late night stroll, as I sometimes do. There's a park area here, so maybe she was helping them. Don't know how much she was helping them. Maybe one was the taxi driver. I don't know. We don't know the answer. All we know is that it's one man that was that has been wanted by the cops. So it's a fair walk, actually. It's a fair walk. If you lug in these heavy suitcases, it's a fair walk to the bridge. Yeah, it's literally down the road, but it's if you're lugging really heavy suitcases, now there's going to be cameras on this bridge. Can't go through there. Why not? I don't know. All right. So if what Giles, this witness, is saying is true, then the man was dropped off around here. This is the Mall pub where Giles and his wife were waiting for a taxi. So they walked this way, or at least one man walked this way. Again, we don't know whether it was two men. We don't know whether it's two men and a woman. We don't know the details of the other people because the police have only released the details of one potential suspect. So, well, there's going to be... Do you have to pay to go over this bridge? If you have to pay to go over this bridge, looks like you might do. Maybe that's why the Google car didn't go over. Maybe they didn't want to pay. Oh, yeah, you have to stop and do things. So if they walked... So they walked along here. So maybe they were dropped off before the bridge because maybe the driver said, "Look, you're gonna have to, you know, we have to pay to go over the bridge." Maybe they didn't want to pay to go over the bridge, so they got out and walked. I don't know. That's speculating city. So yes, it's a toll bridge. Okay. So walking though, you don't have to pay, obviously. So we have to go. To do this and then go back down. Maybe the Google car did pay, but turn the camera off at the toll and then paid, and then could turn the camera back on. I don't know because you can actually go along the bridge. So there's the bridge. All right, let's see what else we can find on Twitter. So Giles has got no reason to lie. Giles has got no reason to lie. It's £1. So that's £1. Is there an airport in Bristol? I don't know. Don't know the area. I don't know Bristol at all. Anybody? Anybody know? Let's Bristol. I don't think there is. Bristol Airport. Here we go. Oh, it's just one runway, so it's like for private planes. So it's not like, it doesn't look like it's a place where you can go and jet off on your holiday. Oh, actually, though, there's a few planes there. So 7.3 miles away, there's an airport. But whether you can actually get a flight to anywhere, whether these are just... Oh. Anybody know? Anybody in the area? Can you go on your holidays from Bristol Airport? Or do you need like your own plane? It just looks like there's like one runway. Doesn't look like a long runway either. Bristol's a big airport. You can. All right, you can go on your holidays to Bristol from Bristol Airport. All right. So it's only got one runway though. So in a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 10 years, there'll be a massive palaver because Bristol Airport wants to put a second runway in. You better believe it, because that's what happened when Manchester wanted to do it. The world went berserk when Manchester wanted to put another runway in. Was it? How many runways has Manchester got now? Is it 3? Terminal 1, Terminal 2, Terminal 3. Yeah, I think they've got 3 terminals. Bristol Airport is international. Right, so 7 miles away from Clifton Suspension Bridge. You can hightail it out of the country. So they need another vehicle though. They'd need another vehicle. Unless you're going to run 7 miles. You could run 7 miles, I guess. If you were really fit. So it's very possible that this person could have gone abroad. Think suspect likely to be found deceased. Okay. Okay. Let's go down to Street View. So, there's a sign there. Does that say? Long stay, short stay, coach park, drop and go. Okay, cool. So is this the airport or is this some kind of industrial estate? This looks like an industrial estate or something. Oh no. Is that the airport? Yeah. Yeah, that's the airport, I think. All right, cool. Yeah, there's the airport. Is that another runway there? It might have 2 runways. No, I don't think so. I think that's a turnaround. No, there's only 1 runway. So that's a turnaround, isn't it? All right. So yeah, could have hightailed it away. Could be abroad by now. Could be sunning it up in Ibiza or Costa del Sol or, God forbid, Tenerife. Could be anywhere. Could be anywhere by now. Or they could be hiding out in a house. They could live near here. I'm saying they, I mean actually he, because we've only got 1 person reported on by the police so far. EasyJet. Oh yeah, EasyJet are orange, aren't they? Doesn't like got an orange bit on the wings. Bet the taxi driver's traumatized. Yeah, especially if the taxi driver helped him with the suitcases. You don't think he got as far as the airport? You don't think he got as very far. You see, these are the issues that these criminals could so easily get away. If they, plan just a little bit better, they could so easily get away. Like they could drop the suitcases off and hightail it to the airport, already have a flight booked, and they're straight on the flight. They don't think it through though, which is good because these people get caught. They get caught. So it's good that they don't think it through. But they could so easily get away. So let's read the statement from the police here. I'm sure this is just reiterating what was said at the press conference, but anyway. 11:57, Wednesday, 10th of July, we received a report of a man with a suitcase acting suspiciously on Clifton Suspension Bridge. Officers arrived at the bridge within 10 minutes, but the man had already left, leaving a suitcase behind. A second suitcase was located nearby a short time later. So, was a second suitcase left there earlier? So did this man have 2 suitcases in the taxi? Did this man have 2 suitcases in the taxi or just 1? A second suitcase was located nearby a short time later. Sadly, it's believed the suitcase contains human remains. Our major crime investigation team has launched an investigation locating the man who left the suitcases and identifying the deceased are our priorities. Acting Bristol Commander Vix Hayward Mellon said, "This is a very disturbing incident and I fully recognise the concern it will be causing our communities. The investigation is being led by our major crime investigation team and involves specialist officers and staff from across our organisation." So this is just reiterating what I said at the presser. I don't think there's going to be anything new in here. Our immediate priority is to locate the man who took the suitcases to the bridge, identify the deceased and inform the next of kin. Specialist officers are ready to provide them with any support they need. She added, an immediate search of the area was carried out by officers on the ground with the support of the National Police Air Service and HM Coast Guard following the discovery of the suitcases. Their searches remain ongoing. Initial inquiries have established the man was taken to the bridge in a taxi. This vehicle has been seized and the driver is helping us with our inquiries. Specialist crime scene investigators are currently examining the bridge and surrounding areas, and the bridge will remain closed while these inquiries are conducted. A forensic post-mortem examination will take place later today. So that's the autopsy. There is currently an increased police presence in the area, and anyone who has concerns is encouraged to speak to an officer. If you've got any information which could help our investigation, please call 101 and quote reference 5224180010 or 999. If you see the dude, call 999. Is this UK? Yes. It's Bristol in southwest England. So let's just see if we've got anything else going down here. I can't imagine there's going to be a huge amount more today, unless there's more witnesses. Okay, evidence Somerset, please clarify. No link between human remains found in the suitcase on Clifton Suspension Bridge and missing Jack O'Sullivan. Yeah, they did say that, and they said at this moment in time, they said they're not seeing parallels at this moment in time. So, but obviously the identity of the person or persons has not yet been established. So we don't know. Must be Jack's family though. They must be in absolute knots. Their stomach must be in knots at this moment. I mean, the police may have, like, if the first indications are that the victim's female, but they're not prepared to say that yet because of they won't say anything till after the autopsy's done. But if the first indications is that there's a female, then they may have said to Jack's family, we're informing you so that you're not stressed when you hear this in the news, but we don't believe it's Jack. And they're actually very firm and say, we don't believe it's Jack. They can say, we don't believe it's Jack. They can say, we have reason to believe it's not Jack, or they can say we have strong reason to believe it's not Jack. They can make all of those things known to the family, but we don't know anything about who the victim or victims are yet. We don't know whether it's a complete body. We don't know whether it's body parts from multiple people. We don't know whether there's one body in one suitcase and one body in another suitcase. We don't know whether it's one body split over two suitcases. I mean, just horrendous. Just horrendous. I'm actually looking at a big suitcase here. This is what Kyle takes on holiday with him. You could easily get a body in there. Hold on. I'm not going to try and get in it. I'm not going to do a demo. I'm not going to try and get in it. I'm not going to do a Sarah Boone and lock myself in it. But a dead person, you could probably get a person. You'd have to squash them in. Oh, it's horrendous though. Horrendous though. Maybe not a really tall person. I'm even thinking about it. I want to wipe my mind from that. Right, so that's the presser. That's the man. So I don't think... why is Clifton Suspension Bridge trending? Oh my God, we're leaking out there. I know, it's horrific, absolutely horrific. So this person's saying human body parts, but we're not saying body parts. We don't know yet whether it's body parts or a complete body or two bodies. We don't know. Bristol's a history with suitcases. Poor Becky Watts. Bristol, England. It's Bristol, England. I know there's several Bristols. Bristol, Tennessee. No, I'm not going to get into the case. Don't worry. I'm not going to get into the case. I'm not going to do anything stupid. It looks like a YouTuber. Oh, this dude here. Does he? Which one? Which YouTuber? So it's commercial flights, just small. Okay. Well, if it's only got one runway. Dad flies to Spain next month from here. Yeah, Spain's just a very popular place. I think every airport that does commercial flights, probably you can get a flight to Spain. No, we don't know. It's just this person said body parts. What the police said was human remains. So they don't know whether it's one victim. The police officer, Vix, what was her name? I forget her name. I mean, look how clear that is. Look how clear that is. Look how clear. Hold on. Why am I not seeing it? Is it further up here? Or has there been so many? Well, I just read from the police. Where is it? What on earth? Maybe I need to go to top. There's Giles. Giles is in top. There it is. There it is. So the exact wording that the police used was human remains. So it's believed the suitcases contain human remains. And then at the press conference, she said, when she answered questions, she said, they don't know. They don't know until the autopsy is complete whether it's one victim, two victims. They may not even know whether it's, you know, one or two complete bodies. They just don't know at this moment. So it's human remains. That's all we know. Does he have a rucksack over his shoulder? Yes. He's also got a black rucksack backpack. So he's yeah. So black male with a beard. What age would you put him at? Now the police didn't specify what age they think he's in. I would say maybe 30s. Possibly. He's not a young man, is he? He's not like a teenager, is he? So Adidas cap, black jacket, black jeans, and he's got black trainer sport shoes, sneakers, whatever you want to call them, with thick white soles. Mid-30s, late 30s, 45, 25 to 30s. I'd put him in his 30s, just as a rough guess. So he's not an old man, and he's not a young man. He's not like a teenager, and he's not like, I don't think he's in his 50s. Let's put it that way. So anywhere between maybe late 20s and early 40s, I would say. So yeah, with a black backpack. Doesn't look like it's full of anything particular, but he's got a black backpack on, yeah, and no gloves. Interestingly, no gloves. So it will be a big mistake for him to have got in that taxi without gloves. Now, it could be that he took his gloves off. You know, he could have had medical style gloves on or leather gloves or whatever and just thrown them over the side of the bridge. Maybe the plan was to throw the suitcases in the river. Like, why would you want to take suitcases with human remains in to Clifton Suspension Bridge? Why would you want to do that and just leave them on the bridge? It's just random. Of course, they're going to get found. This is a very busy bridge. Very busy bridge. So you wouldn't do it, would you? I think, and this is just my opinion, I think his idea was that he was going to throw the suitcases over the bridge into the river. But he realised they were too heavy. So he thought, shit, what am I going to do now? And he just thought, crap, I'm just going to have to run and just chance it. So that's what I think. That's what I think his plan was, to go to the bridge and throw them over. And then it clearly he's a dumb criminal, because he didn't realise that if they're so heavy, if they're so heavy, how on earth is he going to lift them to get them over the bridge? So he's obviously not some kind of power lifter. So I think we can cross power lifter off as is one of his hobbies. He looks like 50 Cent, the singer. Does he? I'm going to have to look what 50 Cent looks like. I'm not up with the kids, you know. 50 Cent. Okay. Is this him? Maybe a little. This dude, this 50 Cent, looks older than our guy. Maybe a little. And our guy's slimmer. Maybe a passing resemblance, but I think this guy's younger. This guy's obviously slimmer. That is such a clear photo. Whoever took that photo, the police have got to thank them for taking the photo. I wonder what it was. I wonder what it was that made that person take a photo. Did that person see them actually leave the suitcase? Did the person actually see them trying to put the suitcase over the side of the bridge? Because the report was that there was someone behaving suspiciously. So maybe that person saw them and did the public a great favour by snapping a photo. And, at risk to themselves. This dude doesn't look happy. He don't look happy, does he? Doesn't look happy. So I'm wondering whether this person is the person who actually made the call. We don't know his height. We don't know his height. Couldn't even begin to guess his height. So he's slim build. Wearing a black Adidas cap, black jacket, black jeans, black trainers with a thick white sole, and he's wearing a black backpack. It'd be interesting to see whether that backpack's located, whether he ditches the backpack or what. Looks too healthy to be a drug addict. Well, I don't know. He could be a casual user. I have no idea. You bet the cyclist thought it might be a bomb. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be my thought. Like, my thought, actually, as someone who covers a lot of true crime, maybe my first thought would be, oh my God, there's a body in that suitcase. Maybe that would be my first thought. I don't know. I've never seen anyone leave a suitcase on a bridge. But if I did, I think my first thought might be, oh my word, there's a body in there. And then immediately I'd think, shit, there's a bomb in there. Immediately. So yeah, I'm guessing that cyclist or person, whoever it was, like going over this bridge, thought, shit, there's a bomb. They're gonna, there's a bomb in that suitcase. They're gonna blow up the Clifton Suspension Bridge and just create havoc in Bristol. So that'll be why they snap the picture and call the cops. So good on them. Good on them. And I would imagine that the person didn't open the suitcase. I'm guessing. I would imagine that they didn't open the suitcase, because if it's a bomb, you do not open a suitcase with a bomb in it, do you? I would imagine it would be officers who open the suitcases. But we don't know. We don't know what we don't know as of yet. Who is this? This is a suspect. This is a manhunt for a suspect who is believed to have left 2 suitcases with human remains inside on Clifton Suspension Bridge, which is a huge bridge here in the UK. It's in the southwest of England, and it's called the Clifton Suspension Bridge. It's world well known as a bridge. For its what it's known for, but it's apparently a very well-known bridge. This is it. Goes over the River Avon. It links the city of Bristol, which is right here. All this area is Bristol. And then to the west is a lot of farmland, a big wooded area there. It becomes very rural out to the coast. Like, you've basically got the city of Bristol and all its suburbs, and then you've just basically got farms and not a lot all the way to the coast. There's a few like smaller towns along the coastline here. This is the Bristol Channel, and then that feeds out into the Irish Sea there. So you've got the other side of the Bristol Channel is Wales, and then over the Irish Sea is the island of Ireland. So that's the orientation of where this place is. So it's the southwest of England. It's a horrible bridge to walk on. It moves. Yeah, well, it's a suspension bridge. That's what suspension bridges do. They do. They move. They feel like you're gonna, like if it's windy, if it's really, really windy, they close the bridges, don't they? They close these bridges if it's really, really windy. But it has to be really, really windy. But yeah. Maybe it's its structure and the way that it suspends. Maybe it's well known for that. I have no idea. I don't know what it's well known for, apart from being. So it's got these 2 poles, like big poles, and then the entire bridge is suspended off these 2 poles. They wobble in the wind, yeah. It swings when you drive. Dear me. You live in Cardiff. Cardiff is... I've been to Cardiff. My dad used to work in Cardiff. Cardiff's there. Cardiff's the other side of the Bristol Channel. Cardiff's the capital city of Wales. My dad worked there for several years. He used to commute. He used to stay in Cardiff in the week and then come home in the weekend. The Confederation Bridge closes if it becomes too windy. Yeah, the suspension bridges do. They do here as well, but it has to be really, 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 really windy for them to close them. I think they're fairly safe. They might feel that they're not, but I think they are fairly safe. I've never heard of one collapsing. I mean, it's probably happened, but I've never heard of this one collapsing. All right, let's do one final sweep here of Twitter to see whether there's anything new. And then I'm going to call it. I suspect we're not going to hear anything really new for today. So BBC reporting the same. Picture of the man. Can I need this walk in the woods next week? Yes, no. Driving a car tonight. I don't know. I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna call it. Did I have any donation? I think I had one, and I don't think I acknowledged it. I think it may have been when we were listening to the presser. So I'm really sorry if I had donations. I saw one in the corner of my eye. I'm sure I did when the presser was on, and I can't find it now. Like, it's gone off the top. Like, it puts it up at the top for a while, and it's gone. So thank you to the person who donated. It's very kind of you. And if I had more donations that I've not seen, I'm so sorry. I normally thank everybody who donates, but if it's during a presser, I don't interrupt the presser for it. But thank you. Thank you to you guys who do donate. Yes, it's a backpack, yeah. It's a black backpack. Oh, there you see it very clearly. Black backpack. Yeah, hit your like button on the way out if you've not done so already. If you've already hit it, don't hit it again, because that takes your like off. But if you need to hit the like button, then please do. So thank you, everybody. Once again, a very strange story. Twice in 2 days, we've got this crazy situation of another manhunt. But this one, I think they are going to catch him. I really do, given how clear this image is here. But if you see him, if you're in the area, don't approach him. Call 999 immediately. Just don't approach him. You know, I don't know. You could wrestle him to the ground and make a citizen's arrest, but I wouldn't advise you to. I'd advise you to call 999 immediately if you believe that you've seen him. So this is Bristol in the southwest of the UK, South England. So thank you all. Thanks, mods, as always. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, folks.